his birthday.
He just turned 88.
Yeah, 88 years old. And I was sitting here in a meeting, and we had this Gary Delabate wrote to George and Brad and just wished George the happy birthday, because we love George. And then I guess Brad sent this piece of video of the party. Let me see if I can find all.
They had a party?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me set it up right.
It's in your fan feedback.
Yeah, I know. I'm just looking for it. Hold on. Okay. What's today? Tuesday? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, here we go. George turned 88 on Sunday, and George's husband Brad sent Gary this note. Dear Gary, in Japanese culture, you enter your second childhood at age 88. The celebrant, these two are up to the greatest shit. This is fucking great. Listen to this. The celebrant wears a golden vest and cap. Japanese-American George created lyrics to match the milestone moment in this 50-second clip. We have to put this out if they give us permission. They went to a place called Club Met Restaurant where George was dressed up in this golden vest and golden hat. Then George had a birthday brunch. Oh, he says here, it's okay to publish this clip anywhere. All best to Mary and you, Brad and George. Wow, yeah. Oh, good. Wait till you guys see this. We'll put this up on our app. It's George Takei singing, and he looks fantastic in his golden vest and hat. And he's singing this. And I was watching it. Here he is.
I'm a child again, beguiled again, a whimpering, simpering child again, bewitched, bothered, and bewildered am I. Years fly by, getting younger still.
I love these two because they're always up to something like that is so foreign to my world.
La 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 la. I'm a child again, beguiled again.
So I walk into the meeting today, and Steve is being George Takei singing. I walk into the meeting.
I'm a child again, wild again, bewildered, bewitched, beloved again. Good morning.
Good morning, George.
Yeah. You know, it is a ceremonial birthday. The 88th birthday in Japanese culture is a big ceremony when you become a child again.
George, I get very uncomfortable while you're singing, because you're wearing a yellow vest and a big giant, like McDonald's worker hat.
This is not a McDonald's hat. This is a ceremonial hat in the culture. That when you turn the bijou, do you know the bijou?
No, I don't. What is that?
It is the 88th birthday in traditional Japanese culture. You wear the yellow hat with the big arches on it, the big M. But it is not a McDonald's hat. That's a common misconception. Good morning, Robin.
Yes.
Good morning.
How are you?
Robin's intrigued. Robin wants to hear that song again. She loves it.
I'm a whimpering, simpering child again, in the rambles again, where I blow.
Oh, by the way,
again.
George, I learned in the meeting today that you are going to now put out a graphic novel of you coming out of the closet when you did, and it's going to be a comic book about coming out of the closet.
A
graphic novel.
Yeah, it comes out in June. It's called It Rhymes with Takei.
It rhymes with Takei. And there was high demand after Allegiance. And people said, we want a graphic novel of Allegiance to play. But we're doing a full graphic novel of the entire story of the rambles and everything in my childhood growing up.
Will we see pictures of you giving blowjobs in the rambles or receiving blowjobs in the rambles?
You will see artistic depictions of the bush and maybe the small of a gentleman's back and the
what about
of the chest
when you say
hairs.
graphic novel? Will we see George? Will I see The scene where your camp counselor with his beautiful golden blonde hair and the hair on his arm.
Beautiful golden hair desire. Yes.
Yes. And you'll see the camp counselor seducing you. He picked you out somehow. He knew that you were gay, didn't he?
We made eye contact, and it was a marvelous moment when I contacted eyes with him, and he took me to his teepee, and we went to the camp, and
Right.
we made a fire, and we made our own fire that night with
Right.
cocks.
Well, will there be any scenes of you blowing your cousin?
Oh,
I
yes.
wonder.
Page 33 through 42. Yes.
So this graphic novel will be very graphic, in other words.
Absolutely a graphic novel. That is why it is a tradition to call it a graphic novel, especially in the tradition that is what you must do.
Well, I'm very excited about all of this, and I must say, we look forward to your graphic novel. And what a beautiful song you sang on your 88th birthday as you wore your yellow vest and your. I describe it like a McDonald's hat, and you sang.
It is not a McDonald's. It is a traditional.
I know,
hat.
but I'm
not
just trying
a
to.
No. This
I'm
is
trying
a
to-
traditional bijou hat that
I
you
see.
wear, and just because it has the golden arches and it has Hamburglar depictions, it is not a McDonald's hat. It
You
is
want to
traditional.
sing your song as you leave the room?
I am a child again. Be wild, bewildered again.
I'm a child again, beguiled again, a whimpering, simpering child again.
Bewildered.
So I guess it's Japanese tradition that when you turn 88, you sing this song and you dress up in this weird outfit. And George did it, and Brad was there, and
Well,
all
I
the
don't
friends.
think that song is a part of the tradition. That's a
Well,
some Broadway show tune.
I think the song is part of the tradition, but he created the words. I think.
No,
You never know with those two.
I know those that song.
You do? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's what Brad said in the email, that it was a traditional song that George just added the lyrics to.
Yeah.
I
see.
took artistic license with the music and said I'd love to make some lyrics to this about being a child again.
Everything is a party with those two. You know what I mean? They're always
Oh,
up to
yes.
something.
Well,
yes.
everything is a reason for a party. I think
Yeah.
they have parties every day.
Yeah. But George looked good. I'll publish the clip, and you'll see George looks good.
Oh my God! I was at
I
their
was
apartment in November. It's unbelievable what great shape he's in. He looks awesome.
He's 88 years old, and he still, I think, does push-ups and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Chris Wilde.
It's a
What's up?
Broadway song. I believe it's either Rodgers and Hammerstein. It's called "Bewitched, Bothered, and Bewildered." It has
Yeah.
nothing
I see.
to do with this ceremony. He's just singing it because he's flamboyant and fun and he loves Broadway.
No. Rogers, if you do not know, was actually intertwined, and I spoke with him when we came up with Allegiance. Brad and I in 2008.
By the way, Steve,
Yes.
this is the greatest when George breaks in and then you realize it's going to be a really long story that you have no idea what he's talking about. Go ahead, continue.
You just go until you cut it off.
Yeah. It just keeps going and going. Go ahead. Yes.
No, we came up with Allegiance in 2008. It was Jay Quo and Lorenzo Theone. We were not on Broadway. It was an off-Broadway show. And
George,
Brad
you
and
gotta
I
stop.
said,
George, my
let's have
listeners-
dinner with them.
George, my listeners are tuning out as you speak. It's just frightening me.
Well, it's informational. They shouldn't tune out because it's interesting to know. But, Chris, you should know that it was a Rogers production.
I told
which
you
has
that,
a
George.
connection. No, I absolutely knew that before you mentioned it. I'm not just echoing what you just said.
Oh my! I love when you ask George. Like George is overhearing a conversation, then he just goes on and on and on.
Oh.
yeah. It starts with that.
He peaks up.
Yeah.
Did you know on Star
do
Trek
you have it-
that the
Yes.
Enterprise was meant to signify the humanity of the world? That
Right,
the
right.
ship represented the entire globe, various countries.
George, can I
various
interrupt you for a
people.
second? My audience is tuning out. Do you have any super long internment camp stories when you were in the Japanese American
Japanese
internment?
Yes, you got it right. Because
That's
some
right.
people call it Japanese internment camp. And
Right, that's
that
wrong.
would be in Japan. These were in America. And when we went to the camp, we were in California, and then they brought us to the hot swamps of Arkansas. And
Right.
we were there for many months. And it was very inspirational for my play.
George, do you think you could just stick to what we write for you and not have to go off extemporaneously?
Absolutely not. So as
Right.
I was saying, they took us back to California, and we went into the camp, and it was sweltering. Sweltering and beltering, oh, sweltering. And that is a song from Allegiance. I'm brother.
Yes, yeah, that's right. You
I
wrote
want
that.
to hear
Bewitched,
more
Father.
about the Bejou ceremony.
The Bejou ceremony from one of the many dynasties was a ceremonial situation. When you turn 88
You know what I
years
call
old,
this, Steve? It's when George is in teaching mode, where he's explaining to us.
Professor Takei.
Yes, he's the best. Those two are always having fun. I mean, it's always not that you would consider it fun, but they consider it fun.
They're always up to something. Like they were
Oh,
telling
yeah.
Mamet and I, like every summer they go to this like cowboy cabin that they have in the woods somewhere.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I never expected that.
Isn't
not
it
a
on
cowboy
Brokeback Mountain?
It's very similar to that.
It
Yeah.
is not a cowboy cabin. It is a dude ranch up in upstate New York. And Brad and I go for several months when this summer is in bloom and everything is beautiful and you can see the night sky. But it is a dude ranch. You cannot misconceptualize it as
dude ranch.
a cowboy camp. That's
There's
just
nothing better
untrue.
when two gay men go to a dude ranch. Just
Oh,
sounds
yes.
fantastic.
Couple of guys.
Yeah, a couple of guys hanging out.
ranch.
Dude ranch. Wait, what was George telling you, Derek, that about this trip that he takes?
They do it like every year. Mamet and I had talked to him about, possibly covering it last summer, and it just didn't work out with the timing. But they go, like, they're in the Southwest somewhere, and I guess like a couple weeks out of the year, they have this home there where they go. And I think like at one point they used to ride horses, but I don't know if George is like up for that anymore. So it's
Right.
like they just kind of putter around, go to the grocery store, take hikes.
You love it, George? You love going there with Brad?
Oh, I love the scenery, the horses, the beautiful scenery out there. You should really go sometime. Come
Yes.
to the Dude Ranch with us.
Would you mind reminding me again why William Shatner didn't attend your wedding?
Shatner-
Yeah.
Bill is a slob, a heathen, the scum of the earth, to be quite
Well,
frankly.
Yeah. You did invite him, and he says you did not invite him.
You know, I thought I would be the bigger man. You see, Bill was never the bigger man. On set, he would not make eye contact with me. He would not look at me. And he was just horrible, the way he looked at people and treated people. So I said, Bill,
Yeah.
I'm going to be the bigger man. You can come to my wedding with Brad. You can come and sit and get over the years of travesty that we've had in our relationship. And
Right.
Bill did not respond. He
Right.
never responded to me. And that
Yeah, 'cause-
shows the character of Bill Shatner. That shows how lugubrious he is as a man.
and let's face it, he claims you didn't even invite him. So, and you say no way, you invited
Well,
him.
he claims I didn't invite him. Well, he should have looked in his mail. The invite was sent. Brad saw that the invite was sent. He knows it was sent
Wow.
to him. And the other thing about Bill, Bill is a liar. And Bill lied on the set of Star Trek. I saw him lie multiple times about the tribbles. He said there were no tribbles on the set when there were supposed to be several tribbles in a scene. And I saw the set designer wheel the tribbles in. And Bill saw the set designer wheel the tribbles in. So he knew that he was lying when he saw them come in.
And I
And
love
that is
when
the
Bill-
kind of person that, and then George will just go on until
I know,
until
go
you
on and
stop.
on and on. And then I have to interrupt him, and it's a whole thing. And then like, I like when William Shatner's
Yeah.
on, and he'll just go, this guy's delusional.
He's
I don't know what
crazy.
he's talking about. He's crazy.
What a
He
lunatic.
goes, he barely was in the show. I mean, I hardly had any scenes
No,
with
Bill
him.
goes, some people are so sick, Some people have real mental illness.
There's nothing funnier.
Well, if you hold a mirror to yourself, then that would be true, Bill. Because the only person here who is sick in their treatment of every cast member on the Enterprise is you, Bill Shatner. It is you. It is the way you treated me.
You know what's great?
The Tribbles. Oh, hurrah.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. What's so great now is like with these Star Trek conventions, and there's no more original cast members, but there's Bill Shatner and George Takei. Like, those two are the only two left standing, the two who hate each other the most. And you know there's got to be some of these conventions where they're trying to get both of them there and they have to confront each other. It must be the greatest it would be the greatest reality show just to watch those interactions, you know?
Is
it must be
Chekhov
great.
gone?
Chekhov, I think, is gone, isn't he?
We lost Chekhov many years ago.
You better be sure about that.
And you know,
Sure.
Every story starts with, I don't know. I don't know anything.
well, like I had
You're
to
about
record
to.
with him earlier in the year. They were doing some Star Trek themed episode of Sternthology Live, so George was going to record some voiceover for us. And you know, I didn't write the voiceover; I just bring it to him, and he always has a lecture. He's always teaching, like, you know, this is a reference from the Next Generation, not from my Star Trek. And it's like, all right,
And you're
George,
like,
we're just trying to record.
Yeah, right. You're like, hey, George, you know, just record your lines. I want to get out of here. I
Well,
have like a
I
shitload
will
of things.
record my lines, but you should know that this is from the 1983 recreation of Star Trek. It is not the original version that you pulled from.
Thank you. Thanks for the explanation.
I have some hot water,
Hot oatmeal.
dry
When he would-
oatmeal.
Yeah, when he would come into the studio with his dry oatmeal, like, he was so great. I love him so much. I love him and I love Brad.
Oh, and Brad is like, man, he is just there on top of everything. You know, when we were recording this, before George can even say hot water, you know, he's already standing there with the mug. It's amazing.
That's sweet.
But I also like Brad's hostility. Like, he has to service George all the time, and he knows the relationship is sort of one-sided or certainly not weighted properly. And he's always, he's always berating George.
Oh, there's a
You don't
clip,
think of me?
yeah, from when Mamet and I covered them at the Japanese Day Parade when he was the Grand Marshal, and Brad is talking about having to go down to Morton Williams and buy blueberries for George, and it's like it's his
well,
Niagara Falls.
He's
You
like
could
his
tell.
lady in waiting.
Yeah, we played that clip, right? We
Oh
played
yeah,
that.
yeah. That was like
yeah.
a couple years ago.
Oh, here's a
The
fact.
most amazing thing was when we discovered that there was a bell and that George would ring a bell.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was
And
the
Brad
best. That was the
supposed to
best.
come
Like
right-
a butler.
Yeah.
Brad.
And then George would say, I didn't want this bell, but Brad told me to get the bell.
It works, doesn't it?
By the way, here's a fact. Walter Koenig, who is Chekhov, is still alive. So there you
Yes,
go. There are
I
three.
thought so.
You were mistaken, George.
George, you
Well,
were wrong.
You know, we've lost many of our esteemed colleagues on the Enterprise. So,
Yes.
to Mr. Koenig, I'd like to make a 15-minute long apology. Dear Mr. Koenig, it's me, George Takei, fellow friend and colleague. I thought you were dead. I apologize. I was mistaken.
A little confused.
This went on for a good half hour in our meeting today. So